So now you're done brainstorming ideas, have your dialogue all taken care of, you have your exposition, your rising action, climax, falling action, and now you've come to the resolution or the ending of your story. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Marc Winn, creator and co-writer of the manga series Anamex Beast Armor and the novel series The Gift of Fortune, which are both available on Amazon.com. So you've come to the point where it's time to wrap up all of the ideas that you've been working on this entire time. You're trying to write conclusions to everything, making resolutions, and solving all the problems that you presented previously in your story. I can honestly say from experience that this may be the most important part of your story. So take all the time that you need when you're working on the ending. The ending is going to be the last thing that your audience remembers, and many times the ending dictates their entire opinion of your story. So this is where you have to really make it count. Of course, a lot of the other details, such as the characters and dialogue and things I mentioned before, matter as well, but this is going to leave the biggest lasting impression, whether they'll be willing to read it again, whether they'll be willing to pass it on to a friend, or etc. So when thinking about the ending of your story, you should think about exactly what kind of feeling you want to leave your audience with. Has your main character or main characters achieved their goal, or have they failed at their goal? Both are totally actually okay when writing an ending, but just know that the emotion that you put into your ending will impact your reader. When you have your character not be able to reach their goal, it would be considered, more of a sad ending, and maybe it's going to have an emotional impact. Maybe maybe it's even a tragedy. Many times, tragic endings are very relatable because we all know in life there are low moments and things that don't always go right, and we've all been there. And relatability is really important when it comes to character development, and really important when it comes to having your audience be able to connect with your story. But happy endings, endings that leave your audience with more of a positive vibe or a feel good sensation, those can also capture a lot of emotions, because just as we've all been through really bad times, at the end of the day, we all just want to be happy. Your reader has invested time into seeing your characters make it to whatever their goal is. It's also okay to, at some point, have the goal of your characters change. They could have started out with one singular goal, or maybe more goals, but by the end of the story, they could have reached a different goal, and that's all part. That's all a part of the journey of a character, which I'll probably explain in a later video as well. In my opinion, and maybe it's cliche, but in my opinion, the most satisfying kind of ending would be the one that gives your audience the more positive feeling. Positive endings instills your reader with things like hope, and it makes them maybe feel inspired towards, if your character could achieve their goal, then maybe whatever goal they're working towards, they can achieve as well. Not everyone dives as deep into characters these days, but there are a lot of people that do. So if an ending where your characters don't reach their goal, then your audience could think that maybe you're trying to say something as in, I don't know, maybe we can't reach the goals that we set out to reach. And maybe that's not what you're trying to say, but that will be part of the message that you give off with that kind of ending. So just be aware of that. Of course, there's many kinds of ways to end a story. Just like I just mentioned, there are open endings, which are endings that don't particularly have a conclusive resolution, and it leaves more of the closing details up to the audience for their own interpretation of how they think things might have ended up, or how they think things probably went from the point you ended the story. And then of course you got twist endings, which I will talk about a lot more, where you try to redirect the ending of your story beyond what is expected. And then you also have epilogues or time jumps or time skips, which are pretty much just giving your audience a glimpse into the near or distant future, where they get to see the events of your story, what's going on with these characters even after the main arc has ended. And I think this is most satisfying with longer series because people like to hang on to good characters and they never really want to see them go. So things like this are always great ways to end a story. So of course there's many other ways that you can go about making endings, but these are just some of my tips and ideas that can help you be on your way to writing a good story. If you found this video helpful, feel free to click on the How to Write a Good Story playlist, which is on our channel and in the description box.